Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you beautiful people. It's Crystal Hill with a very special conversation today, all around this topic, moving from corporate to calling. I've created a whole book around this. Let's go like that. And I have one of my beautiful collaborators here who's going to share in a moment of why she's chosen this book. But I want to give an idea first of why I have felt that this book, a book like this, is so needed. Moving from corporate to calling into our own businesses, into our purpose work. And it feels like there's a lot of people who are thinking about this transition, but perhaps haven't given themselves the permission or waiting for external permission, because when we're in an employee mindset, that is often what we're waiting for that external validation. And this book is that permission slip to people, to those thinking about it. And so with that, I want to bring in Jacqueline, who has joined us as one of our beautiful collaborators in this book. Jacqueline, what was it that inspired you to say yes to joining this book? And maybe just a little bit about where you're at on that journey from corporate to calling.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. Well, first, to share where I'm at in the process of corporate to calling is I have already left corporate. And I have been on that journey back to self and my calling. And when I was reflecting on this question of why I decided to join this project, I realized that this project is a direct response to intentions that I had seeded. At least this first half of the year that I'll share about, but really since I stepped foot on my path. And I view this project as what has presented itself to be my vehicle to visibility, because my intention for myself was around visibility. And it was back in March of this year, I seeded 4 very distinct intentions surrounding my path to visibility. And this project is what is helping to really bring that to light. If that seed is planted in the ground and we don't see the roots that are yet taking form, and then the growth that occurs even before we see that sprout. And then this project presented itself. And it was very much a synchronicity of how this found me. It was the day before you announced this, I had some very intense energy moving through as fear, as I was feeling myself being guided more and more towards my visibility. And it was then after sitting with and being with that energy that I woke up to your email that said, is it time to share your that was being sent directly to me. And I sat with that and I knew the answer. So I took action and I scheduled the discovery call with you. And here I am.
I love the synchronicities that happen. That's really the breadcrumbs on the path that the universe is showing us, right? And I've noticed this happened with a few of the other collaborators who have jumped on board as well. It just landed in front of them or on LinkedIn or in their inbox exactly at that right time. And yeah, so what is that key essence that you will share in your chapter?
Yes. So I'm still very much in process with this. So for anyone that is watching this and feels that way, even though I've committed, I still am in process, but I am along for the ride because I know that this is a yes for me. And right now, what I'm in touch with is writing about my experience of first leaving 3 corporate jobs, all of which I never knew where I was going next. So it was almost like a training ground. And then finally deciding to leave corporate for good. And for me, it felt like the ultimate surrender to my soul and devotion to the divine so that I could truly step foot on my path to purpose. And then within that, starting to share just a little bit about what that journey back to self has been like since leaving corporate and clearing that space for my calling to come through more clearly. And really, this is just the beginning for me. I know in our discovery call, I told you, I don't know what wants to be written. I just know that I have a story here. And we talked about how contributing to this book and going through this transformative process is what will enable me to write myself into clarity, and just knowing that the story is there and it's clearly ready to be told based off of all of the synchronicities and signs, those breadcrumbs that I've been picking up along the way. So that much I understand today. And I'm looking forward to being in process and peeling back the layers and really using it as an opportunity to integrate my experiences since leaving corporate as I continue to put one foot in front of the other.
Yes, that's a really beautiful description of the journey from following that guidance. And I remember we talked about, that need to step into the void and to just let everything fall away, let all of the conditioning fall away. So when we're looking at who this is a perfect fit for, if you're listening and you're wondering, well, does this apply to me? How does it apply to me? The two types of authors that are being attracted to this project, because the subtitle is Stories of Courage to Live an Aligned Life. So it's people like you, Jacqueline, who are on that journey of discovery, who are literally stepping into corporate, the calling, the purpose work, but who have taken that first step. You have given yourself that permission to leave, and you have made that leap, and you've dealt with the fears and the conditioned voices. And so that's, I feel like, very much part of your journey, and then writing yourself into clarity to emerge, writing yourself into a new identity almost, because as we are, as you're writing, as you're, bringing through the clarity, you will also embody this new way of being as an entrepreneur more deeply. And that's what I'm really excited about, that transformation, that deepening into who you truly are, and this is what it's all about. And this is what we're giving permission to the readers. And so the second person that is ideal to come in as a collaborator and co-creator of this book is somebody who's been in corporate for many years, out of corporate, in their own business for many years, who is now helping those who are just thinking about it fast track the journey. And we already have Mariana. She's from Germany. I've done an interview with her, and she's been out of corporate for 15 years and is now helping people to bridge that gap. And so if you share, like you listeners, if you sharing helping entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs in any way to embody who they truly are within themselves and how that then can be expressed in their business, then this book is a perfect platform to showcase that expertise and the story behind the expertise that birthed the expertise. So that's all I have to say about the book and the project. We're starting next week, which is very exciting. Jacqueline, what is it that you're leaning into? Let's just give us a sneak peek of the offering that you're going to create we're launching this book November on the 21st, just before Black Friday. So every contributor will get an opportunity to be super visible during that time leading up into Black Friday and share an offering. Has that dropped in yet for you?
I am very much in the mystery, and I am taking a strong dose of my own medicine of what I will be sharing right now. Like I mentioned with our discovery call, I told you not only I know there's a story, but I don't know what it is or what needs to come out. But just as much, I have left corporate, but I have not yet stood up my own business and having that formal structure and those offers already in place. And that was what was my potential excuse to hide behind. And really, when we took a closer look at that, it was that this creates a container that can hold me, that can support me, that gives accountability with a timeline. And so when I said yes to the book, I was also saying yes to my business creation and the birthing of that. And so that is all very much in process too. And I'm doing a dance back and forth between the two. And so I don't yet have the formal offering or free offering that is going to be connected to this book. But what has become very clear for me and reflecting on my experiences and where I am now is that I feel best positioned to help those individuals who have heard the call and they're ready to step on their path, but they do not yet have that clarity or that confidence or that courage to do so. And we eventually need all of those things to bloom into that next version of ourselves, but we don't actually need those things to start. All we need to start is to say yes. And that yes is the seed that sets everything into motion through creating this energetic shift from deep within us. And then that is what calls in everything that we need at the exact time that we need it. And this is exactly what started to happen for me once I said yes to this book. So I'm in process of that, but it's really crossing over that threshold from one way of being that we know is outdated, is inauthentic, and stepping into the unknown for it to reveal to us what we are ready for. And so I'm going through that process right now with my book and my business and hoping that that is encoded in what becomes birthed through this process. So for me, it is a mystery, and I take comfort in it because I have trust. And that is through the journey of leaving corporate and stepping into calling and letting the rest carry me to exactly where I'm meant to be.
That's such an inspirational journey and a state of being to have arrived at, because that's going to carry you, and you've already had the 3D proof that it works by the synchronicities coming in. And so it makes it easier then to continuously following those little signs and synchronicities along the way. And I really want to close this conversation by encouraging everyone. You know, you said something really important, Jacqueline, around it is time at this moment in our human evolution to step into trust, to be guided from that place, and to let fear go. Fear is a conditioning that has kept us small for centuries. And right now is the time to let that go. So if there's fear around money or time, I think that even those who are on their path and following their purpose, fear can creep in at any moment. And it's just important to recognize that that's all it is. A false illusion appearing real, if we want to use a coaching acronym, because beyond fear, there is that incredible guidance, and fear is only the obstacle that keeps us where we are at. And when we release that fear, the pathway opens. So if that is the case for you listening, there is fear around, oh, can I do this? Does this fit into my schedule? Do I have the money? Let all of that go. If it resonates, if this conversation has sparked something within you, then let's have a conversation and let's see not if it is possible, but how it can be possible. So on that note, Jacqueline, are there any final words that you want to share with anyone listening?
I just want to add one thing on this theme of fear, because it's so important. And it still shows up even after you do this time and time again. I had fear before this opportunity presents itself, and I still experience bouts of fear as I meet new edges of myself. And what I have learned is that when we give space for that fear to appear and show us why it's there, and to really be with that energy. It's not us, it's energy that's moving through us, and giving it space and time to be heard so that we can receive the real message within that trapped energy. What I have found, that is the energy that we unlock to create. And I can't think of a more beautiful place to do that than in a container where you are held and guided and witnessed throughout that. And this is all behind the scenes. And I have not yet participated in one of these. I'm just feeling into the potential of being part of a collaboration and allowing that to be this cauldron to hold the fear and to alchemize it into something much more beautiful and powerful and authentic. And that is what I believe I did to even have that courage to set up this discovery call with you. And then again, leaning into the fear and unlocking enough energy to say yes. And I'm still putting one foot in front of the other. So I encourage anyone who is hearing that yes and feeling that fear at the same time, they come together and really lean into it. And at a minimum, do yourself a service by just setting up this call with Crystal. It truly is no pressure. At a minimum, you're planting the seed, but it could be a seed that is ready to sprout over these next couple of months.
So much yes to that. Thank you for sharing. Yes, so we start next week. We launch on the 21st of November, and the containers that I create are very much fostering transformation, deepening into the calling and the message. So I'm so excited for next week, and I'm so grateful that you have said yes and listened to your own nudge. And I am open to inviting more beautiful souls who are on a similar journey, regardless of where on the way, right? Whether it's been 20 years out of corporate or you're still in corporate, but you're playing with the idea you have a story that matters, that somebody else needs to hear. And if nothing else, that you need to become even clearer about. So with that said, I look forward to seeing all of you wherever and whenever. And for now, thank you, Jacqueline, and we'll see you soon.